Ozark City Council August meeting to order at this time. I have asked Summer Minor if she will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. First, we'll stand for a word of prayer, please. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity to come in our freedom that we are so blessed with. Lord, just guide and direct each and every one of these council members tonight as they make decisions for our city. Lord, I just pray, Lord, the turmoil that our country's in, Lord, we've got to get things together and get turned back to you for our guidance and our leader. Lord, just bless each and every one that are here. Thank you for their commitment and concerns for our city. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our city clerk is still out due to health issues, so bear with me tonight as I'm doing her job and mine at the same time. So roll call. Melton?
Here.
Meeker?
Here.
Tyler?
Here.
Harris?
Here.
Minor?
Here.
Meyer?
Here.
Okay, you have been given your copy of your minutes from last month. Do I have any corrections or suggestions, anything on those that need to be taken care of? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Tyler?
Yes.
Minor?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Melton?
Yes.
Meeker?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yeah.
You also have your financials. We will be discussing that further on in the, as an ordinance here in just a few minutes, but it's what you have there presented in front of you. With no questions, I will need a motion for that.
So moved.
I'll second.
Meyer?
Yeah.
Meeker?
Yes.
Melton?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Minor?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Okay, next we have on our agenda for the committee reports. Our first one will be our budget. Charlie?
Man, I ain't got my notes ready. We met and we have an ordinance prepared for us tonight that really explains everything that we discussed.
So we can just wait and do
Yeah,
that. If
just
you're
wait and
okay
do it
with
then.
that, that's
Yep.
fine. Okay,
Yep.
that's good. Argus for Parks and Rec, please.
We discussed all our parks and stuff. Job Corps did volunteer to do some work on a nature trail up the Overlook. The city of Ozark, or the Ozark School District come to us about doing a locker room at the girls softball field. I believe we're going to discuss that further tonight too.
No, unfortunately, we're not, because the attorney and I did not get to our wavelengths together on getting the ordinance to him on, or the agreement to him on time. So he was not, he's had a busy schedule the last 2 days, so unfortunately, we're not going to be able to, because he's not had a chance to look at that agreement.
Okay.
Sorry.
Other than that, I think Brooke's got some back to school stuff going on at the community center.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much it.
I will tell you at this time, I know that's going to be discussed in the budget adjustment. However, for the window bids, we do have 2. The deadline for that was last Wednesday at 10 a.m. and we did get 2 bids. So I don't know if you want to do that when we're going through the budget as well. I think we'll just do it that way. All right, Randy, Street and Water.
Okay, we only had a couple of discussions. One is we're not going to discuss it now because the owners decided to not pursue the project. We talked about amending our street cut policy. We've got some more work to do on that before we can bring something to the council to vote on. So that will be, we'll do some more talk on that at the next water and street meeting. So that's all I've got for now.
So next will be our commission, and I'll ask Reagan Harbor to come to the front podium, please.
The Ozark Planning Commission met on Thursday, August the 8th. The committee had several requests on the agenda. We did not vote in favor of Mr. Ronda's request of rezoning tracts A and B on North 36th Street to be rezoned from R1 to commercial. These are the two tracts that run adjacent to Highway 64. We tabled Marty Baker's request to rezone 1209 Hillberg Lane from R1 to R3. And then we did vote to approve Philip Terry's request for North 36th Street Tract 1 to be brought to council. He is requesting for this land to be rezoned from R1 to R3. He has plans to put 14 duplexes on the property. We also, the committee, voted to approve Brian Hood's request for Tract 2 on North 36th Street to be rezoned from agriculture to commercial. He has plans to put in storage units and boat storage on this property. Both of these will be discussed in further detail during new business.
Next, under the old business, was the Kelly Street Sewer Project. I will tell you that I received a call late Friday afternoon from Blake Osmond that he and Josh have decided that the cost of the project, they decided to not do this any longer. They're gonna move and go somewhere else. So you go ahead and take that off of under your new business, under the ordinance 2024-11. You know, this next one we're fixing to discuss, I'm going to just say, I think this is going to honestly be the death of me. The Kimbrough building, we have been working on this, and it sounds sad on our part. Originally 2015, 2019 was when the back started falling in. You all know that you gave me the authorization a couple of months ago to get with a new structural engineer. We did that. We put the paper, ad in the paper, and it was the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, so it could go pretty much statewide. The cutoff for that was July the 31st for the bids to be turned in. We have a problem because we got not one bid for the building. So I've gotten with Kevin. I know what I want to do, but I don't, you know, we need to have some legal options, is what I'll say. So I'm open for suggestions on what you guys think, what you suggest that we do.
Well, right now, there's an order from the circuit court finding that building to be a public nuisance, ordering that the city has the power to go upon the premises and remediate it, which is something that really the only thing that we have discussed, because we felt it would be better for the downtown area not to tear it down and have a hole in the square. And it may be time to look at simply demolishing the building. I mean, it is a danger. It's gonna continue to rot until something's done with it. And, if we can't get any interest from any contractor in, repairing it, then maybe it's time to look at demolishing it. The problem with that is, the city will undertake the potential for liability to the building next door if that either one crumbles in the process. All of those buildings downtown have wall agreements between their owners of the respective lots. And the owner has a duty to maintain his side of the wall. And no more Portland than was used when those buildings were built back then. It was mostly sand. As Lauren and I were discussing before the council meeting, you know, water is gonna take that mortar away, and as soon as that building goes, as soon as the roof goes, what's left there will be exposed to the elements, and it ain't gonna last very long. unless, you know, the city takes some remedial measures to it. And so, there you have it. But if we're going to do anything other than remediate the building at this point, and it may cost as much to remediate it as the darn thing is worth. But, you know, the city may not get its money back out of it if the city puts a whole bunch of money into remediation. And what the engineer had proposed was rebuilding the back wall on the original foundation of the wall that was there. The reason that deteriorated and failed to begin with is, number one, the period of time in construction, the 20s and 30s, was when they didn't use much Portland. They used mostly sand, and the roof structure was damaged and not repaired, and that allowed the water in, and that's why that back wall fell. And so, to fix it and do it right, which is what the engineer had planned, and those are the plans that we submitted invitation to bids on. We advertised for bids to do the curative work, and didn't get any takers at all. Not even one.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, I discussed it on the radio several times, on the radio programs. It went out 2 weeks, so.
but if we're gonna change course, we're gonna have to go back to the court and report to the court that we've been
What
attempting
we've done.
what our efforts are at remediation and how that's not worked. And then we'll get an order, hopefully, to demolish.
Well, I'm afraid if we try to fix it, it's gonna be more than the building's worth. And that, I mean, the only thing you're gonna do when you tear it down, I mean, you can sell the bricks, and that's the only light at the end of the tunnel. 'Cause if you get in there and start doing anything, it's gonna come apart. It could come apart on anybody at any moment. A good gust of wind take it.
It's what mine and
East
Nick's
wall.
fear is, every time a hard rain or the heavy wind, yeah. we
Well, there's
both
been
just-
enough of a shift that it broke the wind in the front,
Mhm.
and, I mean, the front wall's just held up with a brace. But it's, I mean, so, anybody try to get somebody in there to work on it, it's gonna be dangerous.
So explain, the owners of this property don't have any liability whatsoever, as far, we've been to court, have accomplished zero, it sounds like.
I mean, we've got permission to go in and to attempt remediation. The city doesn't have any work crews that go in and fix buildings, so you're gonna have to hire it done.
Right.
But the
And I'm
city
gonna
still
tell
And you
can't
can
do
only
anything with
hire
the
it done
property, right?
if it's over 20,000, if there's a bidding process, unless an emergency is declared, and this might fit for an emergency, which would allow the mayor to go, I mean, that is one alternative, is to declare that it's an emergency and allow the mayor to go beyond, without bids, to go contract with somebody to fix it.
And I know someone said, why don't you have the street department go down there and clean it up? Guys, that's too big of a risk.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put the employees at risk for that, I won't. But we have a risk to our citizens too. Every time somebody drives through that alley, I just think it's gonna be just enough that, yeah, I'm just gonna
Of
tell you.
course, we
I
don't
fall
have any
asleep on it.
liability.
No, but I don't want anyone getting hurt either.
Well,
but-
that was my next question. We go in and to have this tore down, what is our liability if it does do some damage to either the buildings on the side, to the city? What's our liability there?
Well, technically, the city is immune from suit for negligent tortious conduct, which that would be the claim if there were a potential for liability, is that we committed negligent act by doing this or that during the process of demolition, if we did it.
What do you got, Otto?
That apparently y'all didn't know that there's cables in the old, what I call Ozark Tower, which is Kimbrough's. It goes all the way through the old bank building and ties both of those walls together. What those walls do flooring in the second floor is sitting on is fictitious timbers. And they tore all of it out, there was these cables, so they had to leave it alone, and when Kimbrough tried to buy there was so many errors then, we couldn't do anything with them. So, pretty just leave it alone. They tore a whole inside of it out before they caught that. There's a set of plates that you can't see behind that wall that's tied to that wall. So you
They go
can
from the
tear
bank wall to
out,
all the way through to the east wall?
Goes, yeah, goes to the west, to the east. It pulls that whole together. And it isn't just some
Right.
blacksmith chisel together, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
So, and there's big timber beams in there, and when you look under them, those cables are under them. And they've been there about 30 years.
Well, when the east wall comes down, it's gonna, the bookstore's coming down with it. I would be willing
I
to.
would bet,
I would
so
be
no more
willing
than
to-
I know about
to bet
construction, yes.
The second story part, when it comes down, the bottom story part's gonna go that way. And that's, not much you can do about that. You would have to take it apart.
Unless you
brick by
lift
brick.
it,
You'd have to take it
timber by
apart.
timber,
Take it apart from the top.
Yeah.
Work your way down.
and probably with a crane,
Yeah.
which is gonna be
Well, it
manual.
could be done, I mean, it would just be a bunch of man hours. You could do it with a lift. It's, a boom lift and stay out of the way of everything. But it's gonna take a lot of man hours. And it's still gonna be destable. I mean, it's not gonna be stable. As soon as you reach a certain point, it's gonna get real unstable.
Yep.
And the bricks on the bookstore side are worse than the bank. The bank they used more concrete in the bank. There's big sliding fire doors upstairs. Cause the only entrance to the upstairs of that building was through the bank.
Through the backside.
You'd have to go upstairs go into the bank, go upstairs, and then there's two big sliding fire doors that are upstairs in that.
Hmm.
But there's but the whole front, there's a piece of I-beam that's bolted through the wall and goes back and bolted into the bank wall to keep the front cause the front wants to fall out into the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
So do we think that companies are not bidding on it because of the,
Mhm.
yeah,
Because of
And I will
potential
tell you, the
problems.
structural engineer said that too. He said, you're gonna be lucky if you get a couple of bids because of the project.
well, I know you talked to other mayors. Are there other towns like Paris, for example, that have had a situation like this that you know of? That,
Well, Paris has lost two or three,
yeah,
actually, three
yeah.
big buildings
Mhm.
in their square area,
Yeah.
in the buildings surrounding the square.
One of our
And the city
problems-
didn't have to condemn them.
No.
The owners
The
saw what
owners-
was happening and demolished the building and took efforts to save the remaining wall of
Yeah.
the next building.
And that's our problem. We've got owners of this building that they cannot, the
Well,
family,
they
the
just won't
trustees, they
communicate.
can't communicate, won't get along enough to do anything. It's sad. And that's unfortunately, and I will say this now, that's probably a third of our buildings downtown, is because the people do not live here, they don't see it on a daily basis, so therefore, they don't care.
The bookstore that's a standing fire hazard. And something needs to be addressed there, cause that might be a saving grace if you work from the bookstore that way. Because the bookstore, something needs to be done with it, cause it's gonna fall in too. And it's a bad fire hazard.
It is.
I mean, the back wall's already gone on the bookstore.
And you've got crack board that's about to rot through
That's-
Oh, yeah, and you can still see through it.
already. Yeah.
Mhm.
But the wall that separates those two buildings is, if that wall goes, or when that wall goes, if the bookstore was out of the picture, then it wouldn't be quite as devastating, because I think the bank's gonna be all right.
Well, you still gotta deal with those cables that run all the way.
Well, you could,
Yeah, now that we
you
have
could
cables.
separate those, you can cut those, I don't think that, it's,
I think you're gonna have the same problem with the tear down you got with the rebuild, is nobody's gonna wanna do it. Nobody's gonna wanna bid on it.
Well, in Paris, they did have one that was torn down or burned, and a new dentist office went in and built it instead, and they, you know, they've made it look like part of the square.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that's a, you know, that's a good thing, but not many people want to be right on the square because of the parking situation.
So we've gotta do something, because it, obviously, we know it's an eyesore, but I'm more concerned with
It's
the
a
safety
safety hazard, terrible
aspect of it. Yes.
well, I think if we go for, get the bookstore involved, because that's what's gonna bite us, is when you try to take that wall down. I mean, I can take the wall down safely, but I don't wanna, I wouldn't wanna be liable for the falling in of the bookstore, cause it's gonna go too. That wall between those two buildings is not, there's not much there, there's bricks stacked up on top of each other. You can take that inside wall out with no tools at all. The bank side, you could plaster that and keep the bricks from falling, but the other side, it's gonna fall.
So you want us to start the process with the bookstore people now to tell them?
Yeah, we kinda have to,
Okay.
cause they're, you know, they're part of the equation too.
Are the suites still the people that own that building?
Yes, and they have moved to Fort Smith.
And that roof, I mean, they're leaking, so it's, you know, once the roof starts leaking, it's less than a year before the roof falls in.
If you'll give me their names and address, I'll be happy to write them down.
We're really glad to get it.
We'll start by writing them a letter, giving them notice.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we gotta start.
Thank you all very much. Next on the agenda is the benches at the Highland Cemetery. I hope you all by now have driven up there to look at the pavilion. I've had a couple of services in there already, and it really looks good. We still do have 2 benches that have not been purchased. We will next week get the plaques ordered that have the names on them for the ones that have purchased the 8. So I just want to kind of keep you filled in on that, and had a lot of positive feedback on that, so that is good that it's been in use. Robert, do you have anything that you want to say regarding the pavilion?
I think it's a big plus. We've talked to the shakers, the people, Jack and Casey, and they got nothing to get feedback. So it's a good plus.
It is. All right, under new business, and I have on here the discussion of a stoplight at North 18th Street. When we knew that Jordan's was looking at building there on the corner, Robert and Michael and Nick and I reached out to Jason Huey, who's with the Highway Department. We asked for a study, a traffic study to be done there, and I want to read you the email that I had received July the 31st, and it says, traffic counts have been obtained and analyzed. This intersection does meet the warranted requirements to approve a signal. RDOT staff is working on a layout and a cost estimate to provide to the city. The cost estimate will show the city's anticipated cost share. You should be receiving this layout and estimate sometime within the next few weeks. So I'm hoping by next week, we will have something. This is a plus for us that they've actually, I know when he first came out, he told us that he did not see that warranted a stoplight there. Then he tried to suggest that we do a roundabout there. That's not an option. I don't think that we should even entertain that idea. So just so you know, when the public is asking, we are looking at it because we're gonna pick up quite a bit of traffic there. So know that that's where we stand. Under B is the ordinance 2024-9, paid leave for uniformed fire and police departments. So So I need a motion to read.
I'll second it.
Meyer,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting a policy for paid leave for the uniformed employees of the City of Ozark Police and Fire Departments. Whereas the Personnel Policy and the Police and Fire Committees have recommended approval, for approval, a certain policy for paid leave for uniformed employees of the City of Ozark Police and Fire Departments, the same being attached hereto and incorporated herein by this reference. Now therefore be it ordained, Section 1, City Council of the City of Ozark hereby ratifies, approves, and enacts the paid leave policy recommended by the Policy and Personnel and Police and Fire Committees for uniformed employees of the Ozark Police and Fire Department, the same being attached hereto and incorporated herein by this reference. Section 2, all ordinances or parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 3, this ordinance being necessary for the preservation of the public peace, health, and welfare, an emergency is hereby declared to exist. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage.
I need a motion to dispense with the second and third reading and read by title only.
I'll make a motion to read by title only.
I'll second.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
An ordinance adopting a policy for paid leave for the uniformed employees of the City of Ozark Police and Fire Departments. An ordinance adopting a policy for paid leave for the uniformed employees of the City of Ozark Police and Fire Departments.
Have any discussion? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I'll-
Motion.
I'll second.
Harris,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Does that need to have an emergency clause with
It
that?
does, you need a vote.
I need a motion for the emergency clause, please.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Harris,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Okay, next is the Highland Cemetery opening and closing. No services on Sunday. We have ordinance 2024-10. I need a motion to read, please.
Make a motion to read.
Actually, resolution.
Okay, why do we have that as an ordinance?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the expenditures, that's the different one.
Yes, that's.
Sorry, it is.
I'll second it.
It is supposed to be an
An
ordinance, right?
ordinance.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay,
I just had the wrong one marked, sorry.
that's okay. Did I get a second? Did you? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Tyler,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance governing the city cemetery and the burying or placement of containers with cremated remains, the opening and closing of graves, mandating use of burial vaults and placement of footstones upon graves and for other purposes. Section 1, no more than 2 urns or other containers of cremated remains may be buried in a single plot in the Ozark City Cemetery. Section 2, no grave shall be opened for any burial in the city, in the Ozark City Cemetery except by employees of the City of Ozark. There shall be no opening of graves on a Sunday. Family members or friends of the decedent may elect to hand cover the grave, thereby closing it. Section 3, effective January 1st, 2025, all burials in the Ozark City Cemetery shall be in a burial vault of concrete. Section 4, footstones may be placed by a family member upon a grave, but any such footstone shall not exceed 1 inch in height above the surrounding ground, and only a headstone and a footstone shall be allowed on each cemetery plot. Section 5, this ordinance being necessary for the public peace, health, and safety, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage.
Need a motion to dispense with the second and third reading and read by title only.
I make a motion to read by title only.
Need a second,
I'll
please.
second.
Harris,
Yes.
Tyler, Meeker,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
An ordinance governing the city cemetery and the burying or placement of containers within, with cremated remains, the opening and closing of graves, mandating the use of burial vaults, and placement of footstones upon graves and for other purposes. An ordinance governing the city cemetery and the burying or placement of containers with cremated remains, the openings and closing of graves, mandating the use of burial vaults, and placement of footstones upon graves and for other purposes.
Do we have any discussion?
You have to change the name on this, don't you?
They're wanting the name where it says city. He was suggesting to put Highland.
We can do that.
So, please,
With that amendment?
yes.
And then on, the burial of the concrete, there should be a minimum of concrete. That's what Michael wrote, because other vaults, types of vaults will be used too.
What other kind of vaults?
Will you have a concrete vault, Robert? What's the other vaults made out of?
It's some kind of like steel, but I think if you put the minimum of concrete, that will cover anything above that.
I didn't want anybody using cardboard.
I have seen that done.
It has.
And a vault is a vault, if it's made out of cardboard, you know, so I just put concrete in there because, I'm familiar, I drive up and down Highway 22, where there's about 3 vault companies up there that are all made out of concrete, so.
Well, a lot of them have just a concrete box they offer, then you have the vaults that are offered. And that's what a lot of the vault companies offer, but
If y'all wanna add steel in there, we can do that.
a minimum of concrete or steel.
You need to propose an amendment, make a motion for it to amend.
I make a motion to amend that to be either a minimum of concrete or steel vault,
And substitute Highland for city.
and substitute
Mhm.
Highland for city.
And a second.
I'll second that.
Just a second here. For that.
You don't know shorthand?
No, I'll forget it. Meyer,
Yeah.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Okay, the amendment's approved. They need a motion to adopt with as amended.
As amended. Okay,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
They need the emergency clause.
You're gonna put one in effect in January?
Well, part of it is,
Okay.
but part of it,
Part
the
of
rest
it,
of
yeah.
it's going
Okay.
in now.
Okay, I need a motion for the emergency clause.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
So the item number D, that was taken off. So we can work through that. E is amending the 2024 budget. This will be resolution number 2024-7. And I need a motion to read, please.
I'll make the motion to read.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Already said.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Ozark, a resolution entitled, a resolution amending the 2024 budget and approving expenditures which may exceed $10,000. Section 1, the 2024 budget is hereby amended in the following respects. Subsection A, the remaining funds in the line item for eclipse expenditures are removed and transferred to unappropriated general fund. B, the sum of $5,200 is hereby added to the fire department fund under line item for radio communications expenditures. Section C, the sum of $3,900 is added to the police department line item for computers. D, the sum of $14,700 is added to the city website line item. E, the sum of $11,000 is added to the city cemetery pavilion construction fund. F, a line item is created for city cemetery benches, and the sum of $8,800 is appropriated to it. G, the sum of sum of $25,000 is hereby added to the community center for purchase and installation of window treatments. Section 2, the above recited expenditures are hereby approved by the city council.
You need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
and Milton.
Yes.
Now, if you will go to the ordinances that Reagan passed out, please. Let's do, the ordinance for Philip Terry.
We've got track 1 and track 2.
No,
There's
that's-
track 1 and there's track 2.
Okay, so let's do track 1, and that ordinance will be 2024-11.
Track 1, track 1.
Make sure you have the track 1.
Where does it say?
It's kind of come down to the middle.
Below
Okay, I
section
got it, I got it.
That next paragraph line says track 1.
I see it.
These properties are adjacent one to the other, so the descriptions look a lot alike. There's a few differences, obviously, getting from one to the other. Which I'm sure was fun to type, wasn't it, Reagan?
She's done an excellent job with that too, by the way. All right, I need a motion to read.
I'll make a motion to read.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Milton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes. Whereas the Ozark Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on August 8th, 2024, at which the proposed amendment was discussed with the members of the public. And whereas the public hearing was advertised in the paper of general circulation in the city of Ozark at least 15 days prior to the meeting. And whereas the city council has heard the report and that the Ozark Planning Commission had a motion to approve with a second, so the motion passed. The Ozark Planning Commission did recommend an amendment of the Ozark zoning and regulations map that said property is owned by A&P Land Development LLC. Now therefore be it ordained by the city council that the city of Ozark, Arkansas, section 1, that the zoning regulations and map of the city of Ozark shall be amended to reflect the zoning of the following described property located in the Ozark District of Franklin County, Arkansas, is modified from R1 to R3, to wit, tract 1, part of the southwest quarter, the northwest quarter of section 34, township 10 north, range 27 west, Franklin County, Arkansas, being more particularly described as follows: commencing an existing rebar marking the northwest corner of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter, thence along the north line of said 40 south 86 degrees 50 minutes 46 seconds east, 658.28 feet to an existing rebar, thence leaving said north line south 03 degrees 00 minutes 10 seconds west, 120 feet to an existing rebar in the point of beginning, thence continuing along said east line south 03 degrees 00 minutes 10 seconds west, 661.63 feet to a set rebar with cap, thence leaving said east line north 57 degrees 44 minutes 15 seconds west, 294.89 feet to a set rebar with the cap, thence south 83 degrees 45 minutes 22 seconds west, 173.18 feet to a set rebar with the cap on the east line of the Fairway Estates, phase 1, thence along said east line the following bearings and distances north, 03 degrees, 00 minutes, 07 seconds east, 155.65 feet to the existing rebar, north 02 degrees, 17 minutes, 55 seconds west, 50.21 feet to an existing rebar, north 30 degrees, 10 minutes, 30 seconds east, 162.99 feet to a set P/K nail, north 25 degrees, 12 minutes, 53 seconds east, 157.15 feet to an existing rebar, north 07 degrees, 48 minutes, 31 seconds east, 50.17 feet to an existing rebar marking the southeast corner of Lot 1 Fairway Estates Phase 1, thence leaving the east line of Fairway Estates Phase 1 south, 86 degrees, 50 minutes, 24 seconds east, 294.79 feet to the point of beginning, containing 4.99 acres and subject to any easements of record. Physical address, North 36th Street, Tract 1, Ozark, Arkansas 72949. Section 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances or regulations in conflict herewith are hereby repealed.
I need a motion to dispense with the second and third reading and read by title only.
I'll second it.
Meyer,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Oh, we need second and third reading, don't we?
Please.
An ordinance amending zoning regulations, zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes. An ordinance amending zoning regulations, zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes.
Do we have any discussions?
Yes, I have a couple questions. Is that gonna be a city street through them duplexes? That the city's gonna maintain, have to take over and maintain? Okay, that being the question, are you gonna break all them duplexes into individual lots?
Yes, there would be, individual lots for every place.
If that's the case, wouldn't it be R2?
Through the R3.
Yep.
We originally passed it as R2, and then we're told to change
And
it
Nick
to R3.
said they had to go to R3.
But if it's gonna be individual lots, it will be R2.
I thought it was
Well,
gonna
are
be
the lots gonna be plotted and filed of record?
However y'all want it, I can do it either way, honestly.
Well, I mean, if there's not a survey of record, it can't, it's a subdivision if
Right.
that's the case.
Right. If
And then
I-
the streets that are dedicated to the city. That's how you get a city street,
Correct.
if the city accepts it. But, if
So it's
there's not a
either-
plat filed, that's a survey and a subdivision, you've gotta go through the subdivision requirements under the code.
So if it makes it easier, I can keep it private and I would maintain the road, if that's what y'all like.
That's up to you. I don't have a problem with that, but,
Well, right now, it's one big lot.
yeah.
And unless that plat is filed of record, it's gonna stay one big
Stay.
lot, and then it has to be R3 if it's one big lot.
Yep.
Right.
However, if they file a subdivision,
That's why I was asking. I
Yeah.
just don't wanna,
then it could be R2.
I don't wanna zone it the
But
wrong
right now,
thing.
he's asked for R3, that's what the planning commission has recommended.
Just so long as you understand you own the street.
If that's the case, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Then I'm
Can that
good
be
with that.
changed later?
If,
It
Cause I mean, if
could,
he decides to break those into lots,
If he decides to break them into lots, it will have to be brought up to
It has
specs
to go
as a
back.
subdivision.
Have to go
to
back to.
planning again to be the subdivision to go to that, but I think he's gonna leave it as is, or you not, Philip?
Yes.
Okay.
This is similar to one we had on Second Street, correct?
Mhm. The candy cottages.
Yes.
Mhm. I'm just making sure it's clear that you's gonna own that street then.
I need is there
and
any
we
other
can put that in
discussion?
the minutes in bold, by the way, because I know that's gonna come back
Yes.
at
Good.
some point. I mean, you may sell those things at some point, and somebody's gonna want the city to come in and maintain that street. That's the way it always happens.
yeah.
Mhm.
need a motion to approve, please.
I make a motion to approve.
Need a second?
Second.
Hyler,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yeah.
Minor.
Yes.
So go to track 2. And
What was the ordinance number on that one?
11
Thank you.
on track 1, and then on track 2 will be 12. Okay, I need a motion to read ordinance 2024-12, please.
I make a motion to read. I'll second it.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Hyler.
An ordinance amending zoning regulations, zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes, whereas the Ozark Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on August 8, 2024, at which the proposed amendment was discussed with members of the public. And whereas the public hearing was advertised in the paper of general circulation in the city of Ozark at least 15 days prior to the meeting, and whereas the city council has heard the report that the Ozark Planning Commission had a motion to approve with a second, so the motion passed. The Ozark Planning Commission did recommend an amendment of the Ozark zoning regulations and maps. Said property is owned by HFI-ARC, LLC. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, Section 1, the zoning regulations and map of the City of Ozark shall be amended to reflect that the zoning of the following described property located in the Ozark District of Franklin County, Arkansas is modified from AV to C2, to wit, Section 2, part of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter of the Section 34, Township 10 North, Range 27 West, Franklin County, Arkansas, being more particularly described as follows: commencing at an existing rebar marking the northwest corner of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter, thence along the north line of said 40 south 88 degrees 50 minutes 46 seconds east, 658.28 feet to an existing rebar, thence leaving said north line south 03 degrees 00 minutes 10 seconds west, 781.63 feet to a set rebar with a cap and the point of beginning, thence continuing along said east line south 03 degrees 00 minutes 10 seconds west, 501.79 feet to the north right-of-way line of US Highway 64, thence leaving said east line and along said right-of-way line the following bearings and distances. North 84 degrees 57 minutes 00 seconds west, 216.84 feet around the curve to the right, having a radius of 883.05 feet, and subtended by chord bearing and distance of north 77 degrees 55 minutes 57 seconds west, 215.77 feet to the east line of Lot 9, Fairway Estates, Phase 1, thence leaving said right-of-way line and along the east line of Fairway Estates, Phase 1, the following bearings and distances: north 03 degrees 00 minutes 07 seconds, east 129.42 feet to an existing rebar, north 18 degrees 00 minutes 07 seconds, east 50 feet to an existing rebar, south 71 degrees 59 minutes 53 seconds, east 19.31 feet to an existing rebar, north 03 degrees 00 minutes 07 seconds, east 269.29 feet to an existing rebar, north 86 degrees 59 minutes 53 seconds west, 30.0 feet, north 03 degrees 00 minutes 07 seconds east, 134.35 feet to a set rebar with cap, thence leaving the said east line north 83 degrees 45 minutes 22 seconds east, 173.18 feet to a set rebar with a cap, thence south 57 degrees 44 minutes 16 seconds east, 294.89 feet to the point of beginning containing 5.56 acres and subject to any easements of records. Physical address, North 36th Street, Track 2, Ozark, Arkansas, Section 2. All ordinances, parts of ordinances, regulations, and conflicts herewith or hereby repeat.
You have that tract on the back there, if you just note that that is going from agricultural to commercial, and those are the, storage units. So, yes, I need a motion to dispense with second and third reading and read by title only.
I'll make a motion to read by title only
And to suspend the rules.
and,
And to suspend the rules.
and to suspend the rules.
I need a second, please.
I'll second.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Meeker,
Yes.
Tyler. Any discussion at this
Wait,
time?
let me read it.
Oh,
An
yeah.
ordinance amending zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes. An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes.
Now discussion.
Well, I've had about 50 phone calls and texts and emails in opposition to the storage buildings.
I have as well.
I've had several myself. I don't like saying that we don't like having storage or bringing a business into town, but the property in question, we're running out of property to be able to put homes in this town, and to me, where that's at would be a prime place if we can get somebody to come in and build homes, and that was the idea, I think, when that was all platted. So I have nothing against the people wanting to put this in, but I just don't think this is the place for it.
Right, that's what, it's not a place for, there's water and sewer right there where we got other places that we don't have that available. I mean, it would kind of defeat the purpose. And it's, you know, it's in a residential neighborhood, there are gonna be lights and fences, and people that live there don't want it. You know, that's the drawback of it. There's a place for storage buildings, and I don't think that's the right place.
I agree.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you had the opportunity to get in touch with your council representatives, so it's not an open discussion at this point. I'm sorry, and the only reason I tell you that is because I had to tell some other people that today. So I do apologize. I should have said that up front, so that's my fault. It's now for the council to discuss, like when they've gotten their, to hear back from y'all, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're fine, you're fine.
I do have a question. Reagan, doesn't not when they discuss this,
Pardon me?
do they not discuss a section A and B on this track?
Yes, and when I mentioned up there, that's the one that we did not approve.
No, that was another one. That was the other residential one, the state residential.
Yes, sir. Those are the two we did not pass. This track two is the one that
But there were,
passed.
he had two proposals.
But she's saying it didn't pass.
So I didn't put
The other one,
paperwork
they
with
didn't bring
those.
up.
No. If it didn't
This-
pass, there's no no reason to bring it up.
This one, if I understand right, goes all the way to 64 Highway if it's not split into A and B. There was three that were brought up.
When I looked this one up on county records, it was showing this to be the true track two, and so I called Brian just to confirm this was the correct legal description of the said property.
I know it's a legal description, but Brian, did you not have this split off of commercial for the front and mini storage for the back? You wanted it in two sections, like we discussed?
That is correct, there was future development for the possibility of having some retail out there, dental, DG Market possibly, just something to that effect, and not be necessarily that. So the plans were to zone the whole thing as commercial, therefore we would have the ability to do that in the highway frontage, and then leave the storage facilities in the back. But it does look as if that was from the zoning commission that they could not there is not a separate, track there at the moment. So, it is all one parcel. If that helps the council understand.
That means you're approving the whole thing.
Separating the track two from that parking?
That's correct.
Okay.
They approved the whole track, or I thought they split that and approved one section, didn't approve the other?
Yes, and on county records, it is confusing, because it does show track 1, 2, 3 on his, and then another track 1 on Philip. So that's,
Did y'all approve the whole front, or did you just approve that in two sections?
we just approved that track 2 that is separate from the property.
If you've got your
adjacent to
handout
Highway
you gave me, there's a
Yeah.
survey plat of that showing the two
I was
tracks.
at the meeting the other night, and I'm a little confused.
You're correct, because there should be another track here.
That one-
After the fact, and it's not on here on the.
Well, track 3 was, did y'all not decide to keep it residential?
And
So
there
track 2
but there's
with
this
storefront
other
was gonna be separate from the other part? But did y'all approve it for the whole thing, or just for the back half?
For the back half, the northern part.
But the way it's written up right now, it would be approving it for the whole project.
Exactly.
Yeah. Great. Because there's no new survey showing.
There's no,
So the 5.56 acres is not what he's building the storage buildings on
It
Highway
is.
64?
There is a small section that runs adjacent to 64 Highway that I do not have a map of. Brian had us a map of that. And it has been split off because he's trying to do 3 separate requests. And we said no to both of those. There's 2 residential requests along Highway 64, and neither one of those was approved.
So the whole thing now is going to C2.
The way
Right.
this reads, because
The
it's
way
a
this
separate
is.
survey.
And that's what y'all recommended. That's what the commission
No.
recommended.
No,
It's not what, I don't think it's what they
That's not
meant to
what-
Get a
recommend.
separate survey done, it sounds like.
we did not have to be divided on court record.
it should be divided there first.
There's no court.
It'd have to be separated for clarity, otherwise you're doing the shotgun
Otherwise,
the whole thing.
Property to commercial.
It
Did y'all
could
have
be
any
the
other
whole
stipulations?
5.5 whatever acres all the way up to the edge of the highway,
Yeah.
right away. So,
Was there any other stipulations in y'all's approval?
Just that A and B, which is what we call that track 3, and then the track that runs adjacent to Highway 64 on the track 2, that those were not to be rezoned, that those were to stay residential.
do you have a separate survey for your track 2 that doesn't include the land all the way to the right of way?
I did not, sir, because it is all included in there. That was a provision that was determined in the zone, meeting. So there's been no time to go in and actually establish any type of survey there. So we can all stay on track, but understanding that
So the ordinance that you propose says that the council has approved, or the commission has approved this zoning request.
That's an error on my part.
Okay, so we need to amend that to show that the council heard the report and the planning commission had a motion to approve with a second, but the motion did not pass, right?
For the
Well,
property adjacent to Highway 64,
Okay, but for this whole tract to be C2,
yeah,
you didn't pass a motion to that effect?
no, you're correct.
Just part of it.
Well, if they didn't recommend it.
the recommendation of the attorney, we're gonna need to send this back to P and Z, and we're gonna need to get some more clarifications on this.
Can I have the, person making the request do it?
Yes.
Specifically an attorney writes these, and I'm writing myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I
And
think
you're not
that's
under any
normally,
compunction. You do that as a service because you want to,
Yeah.
because the last planning and zoning commission chairman did it, and he was the first one to ever do it. Before that,
Someone told me otherwise until we did it on the phone today, and I was like,
Yeah. you're not the secretary for somebody that's coming before the commission. That's not your job. They can do it themselves or have an attorney do it. But it has to be submitted to me before the council
prior to me.
in order to be reviewed and approved.
and then this does all have to be recorded in the courthouse first,
Once
correct?
the ordinance
Is passed.
passed.
Okay.
Could we amend it to say the northern part of track 2, or would that not be specific?
It's gotta be split.
It's not specific.
Okay,
It has to be meets and bounds where you can go out and find it
okay.
specifically. You got a motion to table.
I'll make a motion to table.
I'll second.
And okay, Meyer,
Yeah.
Tyler, Minor,
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Meeker.
Yes.
And that next planning meeting is,
And that,
it will be September 5th.
And I recommend everybody in the audience that's opposing this, go to that meeting.
5:30 this room. And I will say, while we're discussing this, Mr. Tom Forrester has resigned his position. I'm looking for someone to step up and fill that. So if anyone is interested, please call my cell phone, 209-1299.
what position?
It's, for one of the commissioners.
Planning and zoning
Planning.
commission.
Mhm. Yep. Jeez. All right, so that is all that we have. It was marked on the public input. And I don't know if you meant to, but if you did, shouldn't shut the binder. There we go. Okay, I have down here on public input, Eddie Dewar. Do you still want to speak?
No,
Okay. And Robert Walford? Okay. Okay. And Trish, I didn't understand, you just wrote Ozark. Did you want to speak? Okay. We've got public input. Under the announcements, I only have two. The September 7th is the community back-to-school splash. It will start at 3 to 7. And it's gonna be a lot of fun for the kids. And I will tell you the reason that they put it after school had started with people being on vacation, getting adjusted to school. Wanted to have the kids a little time to get adjusted, but Webb City Baptist Church, the Ozark Fire Department, and Police Department are gonna be involved in this. So bring the kids out September 7th from 3 to 7. The fall cleanup is gonna be right around the corner, October the 7th through the 12th. It will be curbside. And as in the past, you'll need a copy of your Ozark City water bill if you take anything to the transfer station. And you have that option. If you want your stuff picked up at your curb, that's fine. And then if you decide you have another load that you wanna take out there, you are welcome to do that as well. That will be on KDYN, Spectator, and the city Facebook page as well. We'll get flyers posted and get a little more information by the 1st of September for that. If there's no other discussion, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make one.
I'll second that.
Meeker,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hyler,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
I thought it was as much as we had.
I know what's going on.
Well,
Hey, you got a fast reader though.